Welcome to your community. This is your hometown. This is Walton Entertainment. This is where you can hear from the community and those making a difference. We explore topics, local festivals, arts and entertainment, and local news. For this program and much more, visit us online at yourlocalstream.com. That's yourlocalstream.com.
Sorry, I didn't see you come in. Welcome to Hodges Family Dentistry at 1190 West Spring Street, Monroe, Georgia. Telephone number is 770-267-6318. Here at Hodges Family Dentistry, we provide an assortment of dental services like partials, dentures, extractions, cleanings, crowns, and complete mouth restorations. So please, come join the Hodges family. And from my family to yours, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays.
The Polar Express. On Christmas Eve, many years ago, I lay quietly in my bed. I did not rustle the sheets. I breathed slowly and silently. I was listening for a sound a friend had told me I'd never hear, the ringing bells of Santa's sleigh. There is no Santa, my friend had insisted, but I knew he was wrong. Late that night, I did hear sounds. Though not of ringing bells, from outside came the sounds of hissing steam and squeaking metal. I looked through my window and saw a train standing perfectly still in front of my house. It was wrapped in an apron of steam. Snowflakes fell lightly around it. A conductor stood at the open door of one of the cars. He took a large pocket watch from his vest, then looked up at my window. I put on my slippers and robe. I tiptoed downstairs and out the door. "All aboard!" the conductor cried out. I ran up to him. "Well," he said, "are you coming?" "Where?" "Why, to the North Pole, of course," was his answer. "This is the Polar Express." I took his outstretched hand and he pulled me aboard. The train was filled with other children, all in their pajamas and nightgowns. We sang Christmas carols and ate candies with nugget centers as white as snow. We drank hot cocoa as thick and rich as melted chocolate bars. Outside, the lights of towns and villages flickered in the distance as the Polar Express raced northward. Soon there were no more lights to be seen. We traveled through cold, dark forest where lean wolves roamed and white-tailed rabbits hid from our train as it thundered through the quiet wilderness. We climbed mountains so high it seemed as if we would scrape the moon, but the Polar Express never slowed down. Faster and faster we ran along, rolling over peaks and through valleys like a car on a roller coaster. The mountains turned into hills, the hills to snow-covered plains. We crossed a barren strait of ice, the great polar ice cap. Lights appeared in the distance. They looked like the lights of a strange ocean liner sailing on a frozen sea. "There," said the conductor, "is the North Pole." The North Pole, it was a huge city standing alone on the top of the world, filled with factories where every Christmas toy was made. At first we saw no elves. "They are gathering at the center of the city," the conductor told us. "That is where Santa will give the first gift of Christmas." "Who receives the first gift?" we all asked. The conductor answered, "He will choose one of you." "Look," shouted one of the children, "the elves!" Outside we saw hundreds of elves. As our train drew closer to the center of the North Pole, we slowed to a crawl. So crowded were the streets with Santa's helpers. When the Polar Express could go no further, we stopped and the conductor led us outside. We pressed through the crowd to the edge of a large open circle. In front of us stood Santa's sleigh. The reindeer were excited. They pranced and paced, ringing the silver sleigh bells that hung from their harnesses. It was a magical sound like nothing I'd ever heard. Across the circle, the elves moved apart and Santa Claus appeared. The elves cheered wildly. He marched over to us and pointing to me, he said, "Let this fella here." He jumped into his sleigh. The conductor handed me up. I sat on Santa's knee and he asked, "Now what would you like for Christmas?" I knew that I could have any gift I could imagine, but the thing I wanted most for Christmas was not inside Santa's giant bag. What I wanted more than anything was one silver bell from Santa's sleigh. When I asked, Santa smiled. He gave me a hug and told an elf to cut a bell from a reindeer's harness. The elf tossed it up to Santa. He stood, holding the bell high above him, and called out, "The first gift of Christmas." A clock struck midnight as the elves roared their approval. Santa handed the bell to me and I put it in my bathrobe pocket. The conductor helped me down from the sleigh. Santa shouted out the reindeers' names and cracked his whip. His team charged forward and climbed into the air. Santa circled once above us, then disappeared in the cold, dark polar sky. As soon as we were back inside the Polar Express, the other children asked to see the bell. I reached into my pocket, but the only thing I felt was a hole. I had lost the silver bell from Santa Claus' sleigh. "Let's hurry outside and look for it," one of the children said, but the train gave a sudden lurch and started moving. We were on our way home. It broke my heart to lose the bell. When the train reached my house, I sadly left the other children. I stood at the doorway and waved goodbye. The conductor said something from the moving train, but I couldn't hear him. "What?" I yelled out. He cupped his hands around his mouth. "Merry Christmas," he shouted. The Polar Express let out a loud blast from its whistle and sped away. On Christmas morning, my little sister Sarah and I opened our presents. When it looked as if everything had been unwrapped, Sarah found one last small box behind the tree. It had my name on it. Inside was the silver bell. There was a note. "Found this on the seat of my sleigh. Fix that hole in your pocket. Signed, Mr. C." I shook the bell. It made the most beautiful sound my sister and I had ever heard. But my mother said, "Oh, that's too bad." "Yes," said my father, "it's broken." When I had shaken the bell, my parents had not heard a sound. At one time, most of my friends could hear the bell, but as years passed, it fell silent for all of them. Even Sarah found one Christmas that she could no longer hear its sweet sound. Though I've grown old, the bell still rings for me as it does for all who truly believe.
This is a cemetery that is really connected with the Baptist church here. It's one of the oldest cemeteries in Monroe. There's only about 100 marked graves in here, but there's some really, I guess, significant people here that had a lot to do with the development of Monroe. People I think that have found out about this are people that are really history lovers, and they come out and want to see. When I found this and did some research on it, I started getting really interested in it because we've got a governor buried out here, and we've got a big family out here that had a lot to do with the growth of the cemetery. The founder of Monroe, Elijah Bett's mother is buried here, and that is really kind of how the cemetery got started. This was his property, and when she died, he wanted to bury her here, and he finally deeded the property over to the city with the understanding it would always be a cemetery and it would never belong to an individual. So I think that's the oldest grave here. And it's kind of two cemeteries in one. You've got the old Baptist cemetery, and then the Walker family, who's buried back in the back, and there's actually a wall around their plot, and it's really kind of a small cemetery, but we've got a governor of Georgia buried back there. There's two governors that are buried here in Monroe, and one of them is here in this cemetery. at the Rooks family plot right now. One of the ones, I guess the story that I want to talk about is the daughter. Her name was Martha Ann Rooks Schaefer. And Miss Schaefer was the postmaster here in Monroe from about 1867 to about 1897. She spent 30 years doing a job that was mostly done by men, but she had been hired to do that job. She did a great job from what I've read. When she had been here at the job for 18 years, she had never missed a day of work, and there was a newspaper story about that. That was kind of a big deal, and it's picked up by the news. It was done by the newspaper here in town, and then it was picked up by newspapers around the country. Now, there was a man by the name of George Schaefer that lived in Pennsylvania, and he was a retired and widowed preacher. Well, he read that, and he was just really impressed with it, the fact that she had done 18 years, never missed a day of work. And he said to his friends, he said, you know, I'd like to marry that woman. And he sent her a letter, a congratulatory letter for those 18 years, and she sent a letter back to him. And it started being a little pen pal kind of thing. And before you know it, he sends her a letter proposing marriage. She sends a letter back accepting. Now, I don't know if they'd ever actually met each other in person, but this it must have been some pretty good letter writing, all I can say. But it was kind of an exciting time here in Monroe that she at 50 years old was going to marry a man 20 years older than her that was a Yankee. But they came on down and they married here at the First Methodist Church. And their marriage lasted until I think it was about 13 years, I think, until she died in 1900 and left him a widow. He had been a widow once before, left him a widow for a second time. And I was wondering when I first started looking at this, why hadn't he buried here? And if you've ever been on findagrave.com, if you haven't been on it, you got to get on it sometime. It's really interesting. Do a lot of research on people who have died and that kind of thing. Well, I found out that he had moved to South Carolina and married somebody else. And I guess the third time he didn't luck out so much on that one. He didn't outlive her. She outlived him. But he is buried in, I think, Spartanburg, South Carolina with a third wife.
there's a newer Broadway musical. Well, I say that, it's just about to end its run on Broadway. It tells the story of a masked figure who lurks beneath the catacombs of the Paris Opera House, exercising a reign of terror over all who inhabit it. I love the acoustics of this building. All right, so this is about a guy in a mask. It was written by Andrew Lloyd Webber, and this is Phantom of the Opera.
And now for some more Halloween-themed fun. The musical Wicked is based on a 1995 novel, Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West. So you probably guessed, if you've never seen it, it is a retelling of The Wizard of Oz, only this time from the perspective of the witches. So enjoy these songs from this Broadway musical, Wicked.
Well, we're about near the end. We do thank Fort Yargo State Park for having us here today. We thank you for being here today. We thank Carol McMillan for directing us today. And again, we are a not-for-profit organization, a volunteer band. If you'd like to make a donation for our expenses that we have, buying new music and rent where we rehearse, which is at Winder First United Methodist Church every Monday night, pretty much. And if you play an instrument or know somebody who does, well, you're welcome to join us. Just talk to us after the concert here today. So we're going to leave you with a song I'm sure you've heard before. It was written back in 1930 by Hoagie Carmichael, famous by Georgia native Ray Charles. It is the official state song of the state of Georgia. And it features our trumpet section, especially Mr. David Blunt over there. So here is Georgia on My Mind.
Hey, Hey Walton County, it's Patrice Broughton here, your public information officer here with another county update. We will start with our November meeting, and then we will go over some information about the Georgia runoff and some projects that we have going on in Walton County. At our Tuesday, November 1st meeting, we started that meeting with a presentation from Dee Dee Harris with Walton Wellness, and she gave the Board of Commissioners a presentation on a mental health task force that would be a partnership between public safety, Walton Wellness, and the judicial system. All commissioners were present at this meeting, and we had a proclamation that proclaimed Retired Educators Day. And then we went into our Planning Commission recommendations. We started with a rezone of 146.13 acres from R1 OS to A1, and the applicant was Alcovey River LLC, and it was approved. We had an approval with conditions for a rezone of 92.012 acres from A1 to R1 OSC, but that was tabled until the 12/6/22 meeting. We also had a recommendation for approval for the amendment to the Walton County Land Development Ordinance, and it was approved. We also had a change in our animal control ordinance. That is chapter 10 in our code of ordinances, and we went to a unauthorized tethering ban here in the county. If you would like some more information on what that actually means for your family and your pets, please go to the Walton County website to look at that ordinance so that you can be aware of the changes that will go into effect. We had several resolutions on the agenda for November, and the first resolution was a project length budget for 2023 resurfacing projects and a budget amendment, and it was approved by the Board of Commissioners. And we had the resolution to form the mental health task force on the agenda, and it was approved by the Board of Commissioners. We had an agreement with One-to-One Health for an employee clinic for Walton County employees on the agenda, and it was approved by the Board of Commissioners. And we had an approval of a donation of right-of-way from East Spring Street and North Lumpkin to the City of Monroe for a streetscape project. We had some proposals on the agenda for generators and installation, and it was approved. And we also had an appointment to the Walton County Board of Tax Assessors, and the Board of Commissioners appointed Bobby Garrison to the board. County Manager John Ward gave the county manager's update, and he updated the Board of Commissioners on the construction of Fire Station 7 and also some other projects going on in the county. One of those projects being the renovation of the courthouse, as well as the renovation of the new building that will be housing planning and zoning that is on Court Street. That building is coming along beautifully, and hopefully planning and zoning will be in that building at the start of the year. So there was a proposal to change the January 3rd meeting to January 10th, and it was approved by the Board of Commissioners. So our first meeting of 2023 will be held on January 10th, 2023, and not the first Tuesday. There was a special called meeting in November for November 8th for discussion of the local option sales tax mediation between the county and the cities. Hopefully, all of that information will be available soon on the Walton County website. But if you would like to view that meeting, we do stream those to our Facebook page, and you can find them under the agendas and minutes page on our Walton County website. So we do have some information about the upcoming runoff election for the state of Georgia. Early voting will begin November 28th and will run through December 2nd. The locations will be for Monroe at 725 South Madison Avenue at Felker Park. For Loganville, it will be held at Meridian Park, located at 105 Generation Boulevard. And for Social Circle, the early voting will be held at South Walton Community Room, located at 573 Fairplay Drive. The hours are from Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. until 5 o'clock p.m. The Elections Office is now accepting absentee ballot applications, and the deadline to submit those absentee ballot applications is Monday, November 28th, 2022. Election Day is December 7th, and you can vote at your regular polling locations from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. If you have any questions about anything about the Georgia runoff, you can contact the Elections Office at 770-267-1337. This information can also be found at the Walton County website at waltoncountyga.gov under the Elections Department. The Walton County Public Works Department is doing some deep patching on Clegg Farm Road right now, so if you're in that area, expect some delays until that project is finished. And as always, if you have any questions for us here at the Board of Commissioners, you can always give us a call at 770-267-1301. We hope that everyone is remaining warm during these cold days and that everyone has a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, Walton County.
Hi, I'm Jody Johnson. I'm here with another Recreation Report. I first want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Believe it or not, Thanksgiving's upon us, and before we know it, it'll be Christmas and then a brand new year. Our basketball season will start the Monday after Thanksgiving. We'll start all of our recreational games in our 6 recreational gyms at Nowell, at Felker, down at the New South Walton, and out at Meridian. So we'll have a lot of basketball games going on. I know our kids have been practicing for about close to a month, and now the weather is kind of turned and the time has changed. So I know everybody gets a little stir crazy when you come home from work and it's you have about 30 minutes and then it's dark. It's difficult, but let me tell you, the best solution for that is to get into some type of routine, which is coming into one of our community centers. They are going to be busy with basketball games, but we still have our upstairs areas where we have our walking tracks, our Nautilus equipment, and it's a great time to come in and start getting in that routine of exercising. It's very inexpensive. At this point, we're at about the halfway point, so normally it's $104 a year per family. Now you can cut that in half, so it's a great deal. Good time to get in now. Make sure you like it. Very inexpensive for you and your spouse or your older child. It is a minimum of 12 years and older to be able to utilize the weight equipment upstairs, just for safety reasons. And then, but yeah, it is everybody in your household family that lives together. So come out and utilize that. It's a great space. Here at the New South Walton Community Center is probably the least busy, obviously, because it's the size of the town in the area. West Walton and Meridian being the busiest, and then Monroe somewhere in the middle. But they're all very usable. There's always equipment available for you to get on and use. You have to find your exact time that works the best for you. We're open at 6 in the morning, and most days we close at 8 at night. So we have a very wide range. And we're not open on Sundays, and then we have an abbreviated times on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and Friday afternoons is usually one of our slackest times as well. So anyway, give it a shot and come in. There's other classes if you just don't like doing the routine of walking or weightlifting or doing some of the band work, stuff like that. There are classes available. You can go online at waltoncountyga.gov and you can see all of those that are available. So come out and watch our basketball games. They're all fun to watch, from our 5 and 6 year olds all the way up to our 18 and unders. If you can't make it during the week, we play all day at all gyms on Saturdays. We have about 6 different Saturdays we'll play. And then at the end of the season, we'll have our all-star events where teams will be selected from all of the teams we have countywide, and we'll go represent Walton County in the Georgia Recreation and Parks Association state tournament. So good luck to all those teams. We still have one team left in the North Georgia Youth Football League. Our 9-year-old team from Monroe is playing in the championship game this Saturday. So next time we have the show, I'll let you know how they did. They are undefeated, so we are looking very well to get our first championships in the North Georgia Youth Football League. So congratulations to them for making it that far. Our Social Circle Redskins team played in our local league against Newton County, and they won the championship. So congratulations to our 8-year-old South Walton team as well. Good luck to all the high school football teams. I know we still have Walnut Grove, as we're watching this and as we're filming this, we have Walnut Grove, Monroe, and Social Circle all in the second round of the Georgia High School Association playoffs. So good luck to those teams. I hope they can continue advancing, and I know one of their goals is to always play after Thanksgiving. You always had a fantastic year if you can make it past Thanksgiving in any high school league. So good luck to them. It'll take winning this week and making it to that third round, making it to the final 8, which is a huge accomplishment. So good luck to those teams. And I know they'll do Walton County proud either way. So again, go to our website, waltoncountyga.gov. There's a lot of information on there, a lot of parks that you can go and utilize on these warmer winter days. So go out and see what we have to offer. But until next time, thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Kenny Sargent with Keep Walton Beautiful, the Walton County Recycling Center. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. And first off, I wanted to make sure I took a moment to thank everybody that's come out for the last couple of events we've had here at the Recycling Center. Back in October, we had our annual Rivers Alive event, and wanted to report a little bit about it. We ended up with about 114 actual volunteers that showed up to clean up on that day. I want to thank all of those people for coming out. We're starting to grow our numbers again. We collected well over 1,000 pounds of trash that were picked up from our local waterways or areas close to those waterways. So that is over 1,000 pounds of trash that would be in those waterways right now that were pulled out. So definitely wanted to take a minute to thank all those people that came out and participated in our Rivers Alive event. And to also reach out to those that want to be a part of that event going forward. Reach out to us. We'll get you on our mailing list to make sure when we start kind of setting a date for our Rivers Alive event next year, we'll get you all the information you need and get you signed up to be a part of it as well. The next event we had that I wanted to thank everyone for coming out to was our annual America Recycles Day paint collection event. We had that last Saturday, and every year we think we're going to eventually get most of the paint that people have, around their house, and when we do, we'll take a year or two off from doing the paint collection event. But it stayed just as busy nearly every year. So for as long as there's good participation in that event, we're going to plan to do it. In fact, this past year, we've now done 2 in 2022. We did one in the spring. We did one in November. We were kind of curious to see how much less paint we might get in November. And I can just report that over our 4-hour event, we had somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 to 65 cars come through, and we collected 855 gallons of paint. So it kept us busy. We're glad that it did. We're happy you come out. It's always nice to see how excited people are to get a chance to drop off their paint. One thing I did want to note, there were a few people that weren't aware that there is a cost for recycling the paint. just want to make sure that you know, we don't make any money at all on the paint. In fact, it always costs us a little bit more to carry out that event than what we take in. But we do charge roughly what that company charges us to take the paint. Just wanted to clear that up. There are always a few people that didn't realize there's a small fee to bringing in the paint, but there is. We really don't have any choice about that. So I'm sorry if there were any confusion, but did want to make that clear going forward. But again, thank you all for coming out to that event. We're probably going to try to do another in the spring. As soon as we wrapped up this event, I bet I got 10 calls from people that weren't aware that we had the event and wanted to know what to do with paint. And we're going to keep on doing that event for the foreseeable future. We're going to try to do 2 of those every year. So be on the lookout this spring. I think it's typically around Earth Day when we did the event this past year, and that's kind of when we're looking to do it again. So just be on the lookout. You can always give us a call down here at 770-267-1421. We'll keep you updated as soon as we schedule the event. We'll be able to give you an exact date of the event. But be looking out for that. We do plan to do that this spring. And that is probably about all the events we're going to have until we get into that March and April time. What I would say is generally that's why the time of year we will try to cram in a lot of our school tours and things like that during the season before our events get ramped back up. So if you're a part of a group, whether it be a church group or any other civic organizations, if you're a school teacher, a scout leader, anything like that, if you'd like an interesting tour, a little educational talk about recycling and conservation and good stewardship and all of that, give us a call. We'd be happy to have your group out to have that talk, to take you through the center, show you exactly what we do here, what all we take here, and just have a good talk about recycling and conservation. Again, give us a call. We can schedule a tour of the center. We'd love to have you out to try to get some new recyclers. So outside of that, that is pretty much what we have going on here. Just a reminder that I feel like I do every time I do one of these TV spots. It is the time of year we've had a lot of people are cutting back some of their crepe myrtles, or they're collecting leaves and stuff like that, and they're coming out here and we're having to turn them around and send them to an inert landfill. Just be aware those items are not accepted here, and we're going to have to turn you around if you come out here with yard waste. Give us a call. There's several inert landfills in the county. We could direct you to the nearest one to you, but we will have to turn you around if you're here. And like I always do, if you've never been out to the center, don't really know what we do, you want to start recycling but don't really know how to get started, or if you're looking for new things to recycle, if you're already an avid recycler, give us a call or come out and see us. We'll help you get started. We'd be happy to help in any way we can. So give us a call, come see us, and until next time, take care.
Hi, welcome to Monroe Walton Center for the Arts, and Merry Christmas. Our Christmas shop is open. We have over 70 artists in our shop this time of year, with hundreds if not thousands of gifts to choose from, all kinds of decor and ornaments and gifts that are just terrific for anybody on your list. Even children. We've got some super cute toys, from the old-fashioned wooden airplanes and cars and things of that nature, to puppets and dolls and stuffed animals. So lots of super cute gifts for anybody on your list. So please come in and shop at least take a look around, and you'll be inspired. You'll be amazed at the talent and beauty that you'll see here, and everything is super affordable. I think, I'm trying to think right now, I don't think there's anything in our Christmas shop that's over $25 or $30. So really, really affordable. So come in and see that. And also don't miss our giving tree. You may or may not know that we do classes for special needs adults and kids, and we have to fund that some way because we do those at either a very reduced cost or for free, but we still have to pay for supplies, we have to pay our teachers, so we try to raise funds to cover that difference. So we have a giving tree at the very front of our Christmas market. You'll see on there dozens and dozens of ornaments that have been made by our artists and makers, and they have been donated to us to sell to raise funds for our special needs classes. So don't miss the giving tree. It's kind of a special feature here. We used to only do pottery. You may remember the pottery angels. So we still have pottery angels on there, but we've got other things as well made by our artists. So please don't miss that. Don't forget the Christmas tour is coming up on December 10th. We have sold well over 600 tickets so far, and I expect that we will sell out. So go ahead and get your tickets. They're $30 now. You'll buy them ahead of time, and then you'll pick up the actual ticket itself, which is the guide map that we're providing between December 1st and December 10th. And you'll pick that up from us and go on your merry way. So the tour is on December 10th from 11 to 5. Right now we have 12 homes and some historic properties on the tour, 8 private homes and 4 historic properties are on the tour. So it'll be a lot of fun. So don't miss that. People love these tours. The houses are decorated to the max, and we've got everything from, larger homes to lofts here in the downtown area. So you'll get inspiration for your own home by visiting the tour. Our classes are ongoing. Of course, we will take Thanksgiving week pretty much off. We'll be here and we'll be open, but most of our classes will take a break during that week. But we're maybe planning on doing a Saturday soiree in the Saturday after Thanksgiving. I believe that's the 26th, with some drop-in workshops. We usually skip December because it's so busy, but we've had people get kind of demanding and wanting us to have a December soiree. Couldn't find a date in December that worked, so we may do one on the 26th, so be looking out for that. You may have noticed our Facebook page is kind of screwed up, so we've had to start a new Facebook page. You can find us now at Monroe Walton Center for the Arts. It used to be Monroe Walton Arts, but now our Facebook page is Monroe Walton Center for the Arts. Please go there and like and share our page so that we can build our numbers back up. We lost thousands and thousands of followers when we lost our page. Somebody hacked it. So please like our new page, let others know. It's the best way really to stay up to date on our events, our Saturday soirees, our workshops, what's going on in the gallery, what's going on in the shop, new items that have been brought in. I'm posting on our Facebook page sometimes several times a day. So you'll get lots of updates if you'll go to Monroe Walton Center for the Arts Our website is monroewaltonarts.org, just like always. You can also go there to find out information about our classes and events. Our member show is coming up, and the information is up there about the member show that's in January. You can also, of course, drop by and get a class list when you're shopping in our Christmas shop. So we hope to see you soon, and Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Hey guys, Isaac over at Reboot, giving you a Reboot tech tip. Just want to talk a little bit today about kid safety on the internet, especially nowadays with all kids having the smartphones and the tablets and laptops and all that stuff. It can only take like a click or two for kids to get in trouble, especially if they're not taught rules and stuff like that. It can be very dangerous very quickly. I am not a big Apple person, but one thing I do love about Apple is on their phones and their iPads, they have a program called Screen Time. And you can lock down that phone or that iPad. If you only want them to go to certain websites, you can do that. If you only want them on the internet for a certain amount of time, you can do that. If you don't want them installing all this social media stuff, these crazy apps like Snap and Kick and the dangerous stuff, Twitter, whatever it may be, you can lock that down. So I'm a big supporter of Apple in that way. So if you want to give your kid a phone, an Apple iPhone is a great way to go. Or if you want to give your kid a tablet, an Apple iPad is a great way to go. If you can't quite figure that stuff out, the Screen Time app, you can always take it to a place and they can help you out, or Apple support can help you out, stuff like that. But I'm big on that. One other thing too I'll say about kids being on computers, it's gotten a little better, I would say, lately with like Google helping out, Microsoft, Bing not so much, but Google has helped lock down a lot of stuff on their browsers, especially like Google Chrome I'm talking about. If you take and turn on the safe search, there's a safe search little toggle thing that you can turn on, and that helps a lot. It can help on regular browsing, but it can also help on like YouTube and stuff like that. It's not 100%, but it can definitely help. One other thing I'll touch on too, so there's apps out there called accountability apps. There's one that I've used for kids called Ever Accountability. It doesn't stop kids from going places, but what it does is it tracks everything. Even these apps on their phones and stuff like that are supposedly erase stuff after they look at it. It keeps track of everything, even stuff that gets erased. So if they're doing something crazy on their phone or their tablet or their computer, that all that stuff can be tracked, and that's a great tool. Again, it's called Ever Accountability. And I'm a big supporter of teaching your kids about the internet and stuff like that, because it can be so dangerous so fast. So but anyway, stay safe, and please keep your kids safe on the internet. Again, Isaac with Reboot, giving you the Reboot tech tip.
Sorry, I didn't see you come in. Welcome to Hodges Family Dentistry at 1190 West Spring Street, Monroe, Georgia. Telephone number is 770-267-6318. Here at Hodges Family Dentistry, we provide an assortment of dental services like partials, dentures, extractions, cleanings, crowns, and complete mouth restorations. So please, come join the Hodges family. And from my family to yours, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays.